Hello. So I've got a full production copy of BN1 to show you. This is identical to how it will look on the shelves. I have removed the shrink wrap from everything because I tend to need time to take shrink wrapping off boxes, and I didn't think that would be very entertaining for anybody. So I removed all that so I can just show you the box and the contents of the game. So first off, the lovely artwork from Lisa adorning the front of the box. This is smashing. I'm still having fun finding new stuff on there, even though I've had it for months. So yeah, and Longpack have done a really lovely job on producing it as well. So it really does pop out the yeah, it does really pop out of the box. It looks smashing. So lovely Brighton scene on the front. On the side of the box, we've decorated it with some of the artwork from the cards in the game. And then on the back, there it is, little synopsis and a selection of cards and contents in the game so you can see what it's all about. Now, inside. So, first off, the inside of the box is decorated with more pictures of the cards from the game. And then we have the rule book. So, a 12-page full colour book, which has everything you need in it to set up and play the game. There's a reference sheet on the back, so once you learn the rules, you can just go by that. There are also video guides online, so if you're not too keen on reading rules, you can watch the videos instead. I know lots of people aren't keen on reading rule books, and I understand that completely. In fact, I think the only thing worse than reading a rule book is writing one, so I'm with you there. Next we have the board. So a lovely 50 by 50 square board, again, superbly designed and illustrated by Lisa. So this has Brighton all the way from the Devil's Dyke and Ditchling Beacon right down to the Marina and the Hove Lagoon. So you've got plenty of Brighton to explore. Lots of different routes you can take. Different colour squares will have different effects on you. These kind of tan colour squares are encounters, which can be good or bad. I'll go into those in a minute. And then the blue shot ones where you can buy equipment for your inventory. You can get buses around town, visit the hospital, the police station. So there's plenty to do on your day out in Brighton. And then the punch boards, there's two of these. So the first one is made up mainly of the money that you need in the game. So each player starts with a certain amount of money, and you can buy and sell and so on. Money is easier to spend than it is to come by. So of course these are all punched out of the boards when you get it, and nice and thick as well. So there you go. These are tokens which you use to keep track of your shop purchases. It shows you how many times you can use certain cards. On the next sheet, we've got all the player pieces. So all these little stand-up cardboard tokens. We've got tokens of the city events and Brighton spirits. All of these ones at the top of provisions that you can eat, and they give you certain bonuses. And then you've got a little line of tokens at the bottom for scoring, buses and so on. So again, these are punched out and placed on the little plastic stands that you get. There's some spare ones of these in the box, and they are intended for expansions. So if we add any characters or anything to the game, then you'll be able to stand them up right away. So there you go. And then, of course, the thrust of BN1 is in the card decks. And again, I've removed the shrink wrap and placed the bags in the little plastic Ziploc bags that you get with the game, just to keep everything neat and tidy when you're finished. So the destination deck is made up of all the places you can visit in Brighton, and there's a selection ranging from well-known tourist destinations such as the Pavilion and the Pier to some that are lesser known, more kind of like secretive or kind of community-based places in Brighton that you might not necessarily know about. So we've got the Brighton Museum, Ditchling Beacon, the Madeira Lift, Preston Manor, Stammer Park and so on. So there's a range of kind of like historical, more kind of entertainment-based places, and yeah, like I said, there's 45 in total, and each one is splendidly illustrated by Lisa. Each one as well involves a choice, so you get a kind of a sort of choose-your-own-adventure type feel to these cards. So for instance, the Brighton Pavilion, you could peruse the local artefacts, or you could share your own finds. At the Concord 2, you could watch some live music, or if you're more inclined, sit at the bar on your own. So you know, obviously some of these cards are derived from personal experience, so yeah, there's the destinations. Next, we have the encounter cards. Now, there's a lot that can happen during a day in Brighton, and some of those things are welcome, others not so. So this deck deals with those kinds of encounters. So for instance, you could find some loot on the ground, be attacked by greedy ghouls, go on a ghost walk, find out about local events that are taking place, or historical characters that you can go and swat up on So there's about 80 of these, and there's a good variety in there of different things that can happen to you. Indeed, some have happened to me or people I know. So you know, write what you know, they say. Oh, I'll put that back in a minute. Next is the shop deck. So like I say, you get money in the game, which you can spend on various tools and equipment, things that will help you in various ways. So for instance, a birdie whistle to annoy other players with, a map to help you find your way around, a bike to get there quicker, instruments that you can busk with to earn money, and little bits of Brighton memorabilia that can earn you cumulative points. So the more of these you collect, the more they're worth in total. So yeah, we've got almost 50 shop cards there, and again, there's a wide variety of things that you can buy. But of course, money's limited, so watch your purchases. Then we've got the player cards. So there are 5 different characters that you can play in the game, and each one has got their own abilities, goals, and ambitions. So for instance, the sightseer is interested in finding out about all the different sorts of places in Brighton. So you visit different types of destination, you'll get extra points. The shopper wants to fill their bag with all sorts of things. So the more shop cards you get in your inventory, the more points you get. So each of these characters has their own kind of quirks and abilities, and you can play with or without them. If you want a simpler game, you can just leave them. But they do add a little bit of depth and flavour to it. So and of course, each one has their own accompanying stand-up figure. Next up, we have the smaller cards. Now, these are the cards that are designed to be held in your hand, so they're kind of like nice and portable. This is the sneak deck, and these can turn BN1 into a petty grudge fest. So these are cards that you can either play on yourself to enhance your own plans, or you can play on other players to scupper theirs. So say for instance, someone's about to move, you decide they're hopelessly lost, and then you can move them instead. If another player scores some points, you can file share and also score them. So like I say, nasty tricks, petty misdemeanours, that's what this deck's made up of, but it's a lot of fun. Now, there's 2 ways you can play BN1. When it came out 10 years ago, rolling to move around a board was still very much more, de rigueur. So that you can still play the game like that. You can roll 2 dice, move that many tiles, and so on. In the time on away, lots of people like playing like that. If you like to play with a bit more kind of agency and choice, you can use your character's action cards. So each deck has 12 cards in it. At the beginning of the game, you'll draw 4 of these cards into your hand, and each one lets you move a certain amount of tiles around the board. So say for instance, this one would let me move 2, and then I'd get a special action which is particular to this character to fulfill afterwards. So the historian's special actions are based more around like historical destinations, finding out about historical Brighton figures and so on. So each character has their own deck of tailored 12 cards. So you get a bit more choice with these. So you can play the game a bit more tactically and plan your turns in advance. Then there's day savers. There's 4 of these, 1 for each player. You can buy these to start getting buses around town. So the first time you get a bus, you pay £5 and you get one of these day savers, which you can then use throughout the game. So bus travels quicker, but of course you don't get to see as much. So that's the trade-off. Then we've got the dice. Even if you're not using them for moving, there's lots of other things that dice are used for, such as gambling, shoplifting, seeing what happens in certain encounters and so on. So that is, I think, everything. That's everything that's in the game. So big old board, big thick box, about 280 odd cards and 50, 60 tokens. So there's plenty in there. And the game is currently ahead of schedule. It is now on the boat, so it should be arriving in the UK about the middle of October. I'd allow another week or so to clear through customs. The game is way ahead of when I expected it to arrive. So it's still available for pre-order. And if you pre-order, you also get the Lisa Holdcroft print of the box art, which is completely exclusive to the pre-order campaign. It's not going to be available elsewhere. And you also get a special badge. So if you do fancy pre-ordering, the link, of course, is in this mail out. And otherwise, it's bedsitgames.co.uk/BN1. That's where you need to go. So thank you for taking the time. Certainly, if you managed to get this far, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And take care.